Thank you so much for tuning in. You are tuning into Esoteric Wisdom and Spiritual Truths. My name is Nehru. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are going to get into some more teaching. Okay. Thank you so much for all of you who was recently listening to the Aquarian Gospel of Yeshua. We do a live canonical text reading every Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, although I am in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. So thank you so much for tuning in. Let me light this. Hope everyone's doing well on this Sunday morning, afternoon, whatever it happens to be, wherever you are at this time. And again, thank you so much for tuning in. I have been the entire day. I woke up physically in a very meditative state, and just very much in sync. Not that I'm not on any other day, but as you all know, those of you who are spiritually awake, there are days and times of higher intensity, and today was definitely one of those days. And I welcome those opportunities. I welcome those times, just like I welcome the times of relaxation and the time of easiness. I also welcome the intense energy. I welcome both the masculine divine energy and I welcome the divine feminine energy. I welcome them both. And so I want to share something with you. I don't know how long this video is going to be. We'll see where Divine wants to go with it. I do have cards and things out here. I don't know if we'll end up using those. But I want to share something that Divine Source brought to me back when I was putting the class together, the alchemy class. Okay, we had that class on 2/22 on February 22nd of 2026. We had that class on 2/22. Okay, and that class was conducted via Zoom. Okay, that class was conducted via Zoom. So I want to talk briefly about, and you can ask your questions as we move along, okay, of course. I like interaction, okay? So if I'm ever on a physical stage anywhere, I love interacting with the crowd. I love interacting with the attendees, and I don't even like saying the word crowd because it's not a concert. I like interacting with the attendees, okay, with the beings that showed up. I like interacting with you, so feel free to ask your questions. I'm not saying I'll have all the answers because I certainly don't, okay? I do not know about every star seed planet. I don't know all of those things, okay? So, yeah, but feel free to ask your questions. I learn as you learn, okay? So again, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Nehru, okay? And so I first want to speak about the 7 degrees of initiation associated with esoteric teachers and ascended masters. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay. Of course, you all have lives. So, yeah, if you need to listen in the background, while you work or while you, I don't know, get the kids ready, while you, um, cook, whatever, while you clean the house, you listen in the background. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, present. Okay. And that's all that matters. Okay. Is this moment, is this time. That's all that matters. Is this very day, this 3/1 day, March 1st of 2026. That's all that matters. Okay. Is today. All right. So the 7 degrees of initiation, okay, connected to the ascended masters specifically. And then we're going to briefly discuss the shamanic path, okay, that deals with your life path focus. Your life path focus, okay? And each of these, there are seven, okay? 7 levels, 7 steps, 7 journeys, 7 processes, etc., okay? And so when we're looking and talking about the 7 degrees of initiation, okay, we are talking about a birth, okay? And when we talk about the 7 degrees of initiation, when we're talking about that side of things, we are talking about the spiritual side of things, okay? We are talking about the spiritual side of things, okay? And when we talk about the spiritual side of things, not just not just spirit as in body, soul, spirit, not about your chakras, not about those things when I speak about your spiritual or non-physical side, okay? But we are talking about over time, okay? Over time. Now we go through different phases, and some of these can be macro, micro, okay? They can be, all right? But so the first step is birth, okay? And what is this birth, okay? This birth speaks to realizing that you do not need many of the things that man say you need. So you learn to live with very little food. You realize that sex is not a necessity. You realize that money is necessary, but how much of it do you really need? And this is not to say that you don't need to have millions and that your purpose does not contain wealth for you. That's not what that's saying. It's talking about a rebirth as in you being okay even without those things. Okay? So if you have food, CO said she's present today. So I said today is all that matters. So if you have food today and you go to sleep with a content belly, that's all that matters. Okay? Was it your favorite foods? Maybe not. Okay? But you went to sleep content and you did not go to sleep starving or hungry. Okay? So that is a part of a different kind of birth. That is step number 1 in the 7 degrees of initiation. Okay? Into ascended masterhood, what have you, whatever you want to call it. Okay? That's what I'm calling it. But you can call it whatever you want to. This higher awareness. Okay? Again, speaking about sex, intercourse, realizing that that is not a necessity. Again, I always like to say there are 3 things that are necessary for your spiritual ascensions to happen, for you to awaken. That is celibacy, isolation, and meditation. Those 3 things are absolutely necessary. Okay? So that type of birth, realizing, oh, wow, okay. One thing that I realized in all of my travels, I've been homeless 3 different times. 2 times I was homeless sleeping in my car while I was on dialysis. Okay? 2 times homeless while I was on dialysis. I've learned to be content wherever I am. You will not find me complaining about what I don't have, what I don't have, what I don't have. You will never find me complaining about those things, okay? Even as I travel throughout Southeast Asia, I have very little with me that I travel with. And I'm right now about to cycle out the outfits that I have that I got here back in May of last year, cycle those out for new wardrobe, okay? Thank you so much for tuning in. Cycle those out for a brand new wardrobe, okay? So, being content wherever I am. During my Job experience, the first place that I lived, I rented a trailer for RV for $600 a month in Arizona. This trailer was like a 1979, 80 something RV. It was broke down, leaning to the side. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah, not the best shape, that's for sure. Okay? But I was happy. Okay? It leaked water, you know what I mean? Like it just, thankfully, it didn't rain much in Arizona, so I didn't have to worry about that very often. But even in that place, I would turn the music up. I'd turn on Earth, Wind, and Fire, and I'd just be in there dancing. I'd be rocking that RV. You know what I mean? Turn on some Red Hot Chili Peppers, and we just be going at it. Okay? Because I learned to be happy wherever I was. Wherever I was, I learned to be content. Okay? All right? And so that's the first step. Okay? Is the birth into realizing how much you really do not need that man says you need. And again, that doesn't mean you need to be poor. That doesn't mean you're meant to be in poverty. That doesn't mean you need to give away 90% of what you get. That is not what that means. What it means is, in the present moment, be content with where you are and with what you have, and be thankful, be grateful, and give gratitude. Okay? So, birth, that awakening. Okay? Next, okay, is the baptism. Okay? And we're talking about the 7 degrees of initiation for those of you who are just tuning in. Hello, thank you so much for tuning in. Tahira, I think. Okay? So, learning. So, what is the baptism? Okay? This is the emotional, okay? This is the emotional side that we master. The baptism, the emotional side. I connect this to ego deaths, okay? Ego deaths. So, how do you know if you need to go through an ego death? If you're still asking why, okay? If you're still asking when, okay? If you're still just hot after money, okay? If you're still looking for the next piece of ass, damn it, when am I gonna get married? Damn it, where is he? Where is she? Where is this? Where is that? You need to go through an ego death, okay? You need a baptism emotionally. You need a baptism emotionally. You need to be submerged spiritually, okay? And rise up out of those waters clean and pure, okay? Without any worry about when, where, how. You need a spiritual baptism, okay? So getting rid of, that's the second degree of the 7 degrees of initiation spiritually. So you need to release those things, emotionally speaking, okay? Emotionally speaking. Oh, good. Thank you so much for tuning in to those. Okay. Thank you so much for listening. Okay. And thank you so much for coming back to this live. All right. And so the second step in the 7 degrees of initiation concerning the ascended master teachings, okay, is a baptism, emotional baptism. That is an ego death. To master that. So how do you master that in another way? Is by balancing your masculine and feminine energy. Okay? Those of you, some of you who have been a part of this collective for some time, okay, you know that from time to time we have roaches that show up in here. That's what I call karmic energy, low vibrational energy. We have roaches that show up in here, okay? And when we do, I have no problem cussing their ass out and kicking them out. Why? And I'm not upset or angry. When I do it with a smile on my face. And again, I can do it in this moment and turn right around and crack a joke, right around and say something witty, or silly or goofy or corny, whatever you want to call it, right? Why? Because today, masculine and feminine energy being balanced is what that is. Emotionally, when you go through ego deaths, you balance out your masculine and your feminine energy. So, what someone says about you, it doesn't affect you. When they come on this live, I delete them out of this live and I expose who they are, okay, for the collective of us, okay? If it was just me on here and there was no one else on here, or I blocked the comments or stopped the comments or however on the channel, then there would be no need to even address them. I would just block them. You know what I mean? And then again, I wouldn't be able to see their comments. So, right? So, yeah, balanced masculine and feminine energy. That's another type of baptism, emotional baptism. Okay? I don't need to get angry. I don't need to get mad. I just need to handle business and go on my way. Okay? The third step in the 7 degrees of self-mastery, okay, and esoteric teachings is the transfiguration phase. The transfiguration phase. So in this phase, you are starting to see how things, you're looking at things and you're like, oh, that's why I'm this. Ooh, that's why I felt that. That's why I see this. That's why I dreamed those things. That's why, that's why, ooh, I heard that word. I wonder what that means. And you start connecting the dots, and then you realize you are Sirius star seed. You are Palladian star seed. Oh, wow, shit. I'm an Egyptian shamanic bloodline. Oh, then you start connecting the dots and you start realizing, okay, who you really truly are. Okay, that is the third phase, transfiguration phase. Transfiguration phase. Okay? Somebody's watching from, it looks like Canada. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay? Hello, lovely. All right? And so the transfiguration stage. Okay? This is when you're starting to connect it. Ooh, I was wondering why my mother never wanted to take a DNA test. Because she's not your mother. Oh, I was wondering why my family treats me like dog crap. You know what I'm saying? Oh, because I'm the black sheep, because they know who I am. You start connecting the dots, okay? This is the transfiguration stage, when you start to recognize who you are. The transfiguration stage, okay? Next, okay? We have the crucifixion stage, okay? The crucifixion stage. And to me, the crucifixion stage sums up all levels 1 through 3, okay? The crucifixion stage, level 4, to me, okay, it encompasses all 3 of the first levels. Again, the first level, okay, is an abandonment of attachments to the 3D. Abandonment of attachments to the 3D, okay? So, for a time, I was on ramen, and that's all I could have. Why? Because on my VA disability, okay, from kidney transplant and dialysis and all of that, okay, based on the number of years that I served, which was 8 in the United States Army, I get a certain amount of money every month. With that certain amount of money every month, I have to make it last, okay? And depending on where I live, okay, depends on how far that dollar goes. Okay, and again, I didn't know what to expect when I arrived in Southeast Asia, but Divine Source knew, okay? He knew how far the dollar would go in each country. They knew. I didn't know, but they knew. Okay? The only thing I looked up was the first hotel that I was going to live in. I didn't know I was ever going to be in Vietnam. I didn't know I was ever going to be in Thailand. I didn't know I was ever going to be in, where else have I been? Yeah, those places. Okay? And I went to the Philippines, but it was very briefly. Okay? And it was just for a visa run. So, yeah. All right. So, yeah. So the first stage of birth, and that is having no attachments to the 3D. Okay. No attachments to the 3D. Okay. Or realizing that you don't need attachments to the 3D. Okay. Baptism. Okay. Emotional, ego, death, mastery. Step 2, and transfiguration, realizing who you are and putting the dots together. This could involve also deja vu moments, okay? This could also involve deja vu moments, okay? Oh, thank you so much for tuning in, Tahira. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, and so the fourth stage is the crucifixion stage. So we know that Yeshua was crucified. Okay, but do you know what the real true word or definition of crucified means? It means to ascend, is what crucified means. It doesn't mean assassinate, and it doesn't mean to kill. How many of you are shocked? The word crucifixion or crucified means to ascend. It does not mean to die. It means the opposite of dying. It means to ascend. Okay? So Yeshua was crucified. They ascended, is what crucified means. It doesn't mean to die. Okay? It doesn't mean to die. All right? So the fourth stage is the crucifixion stage in the 7 degrees of initiation spiritually. Okay? And in this fourth stage, this is an abandonment of the 3D. So in what way does this relate to us who still continue to live here? Okay? No, it doesn't. Yeah, it does not. It means to ascend. Okay? It means to ascend. Crucify means to ascend. Okay? And so this crucifixion is an abandonment of the 3D. And again, that includes the ego, that includes the chaser of the dollar, that includes sex, okay? That doesn't mean you don't like it, okay? Listen to me. Listen to me. We are grown here, so we can have grown folks conversations. I like ass just as much as anybody else, okay? But I am not chasing after that, and I am not seeking that. I am a celibate being today, all right? All right? I enjoy money. I enjoy having nice things. I enjoy those things, but those things are not the reason for which I live. Those things are not the reason for which I rise up every day. None of those things are. Money, sex, or rock and roll. None of those things are the reason why I live today. Okay? None of those things are. All right? So again, I'm not a eunuch. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, right? And I'm not blind to the truths, okay? Can't call the electric company and be like, hey, I'm a man of God. I'm confirmation. I'm an ascended master. And somebody else just sent me a message with laugh marks, with laugh whatever's on it from some comment like earlier in the day. Someone at one of the hotel owners here at the hotel sent me something. They've been in another ceremony. I didn't go to the ceremony today, the Buddhist master teaching. I didn't go to it today. Okay? So yeah, they're now replying because they're just getting home. That's why I didn't go. Those are some long ass ceremonies. That's why I did not go to that one. I chose not to go because I knew I needed to be here. First for the 10 a.m. Aquarian Gospel of Yeshua, and then for whatever else that divine wanted me to do. And again, I've been in heavy meditation mode today, listening to a lot of heavy meditation secrets, synchronicities, and things of that nature. So yeah, I knew it wasn't for me to go to that. But they're just getting home, and it is 11:20 in the evening. That's how long those ceremonies are. So what have I learned about those processes? Just like we hear about Yeshua in the Aquarian Gospel that we're reading about, for those of you who listen to any of that, how he is saying yes to some of those things, and then he's correcting them in other things. Some of the ceremonious things are a bit redundant and overstated. And I don't want to be sitting on my ass for 3 hours, just sitting still and just not being able, I don't want to be doing that. You know what I'm saying? Not for most anything, I think we have one video on this channel, one live, and it was recent, that went 3.5 hours. When I got up, I was like, damn, I've been sitting down for a long time. I don't like sitting down, but it's just not me. It's just not me. So, yeah, okay. So yes, so I'm not blind to the necessities of this physical earth. And like I said, you can't call the electricity company and be like, hey, yo, I'm an ascended master. I'm a master builder 33 or whatever, a master builder 11, 22. I'm an earth angel. I need you to go ahead and give me $300 credit, $700 credit on my phone bill, on my light bill. Hey, you know what? I don't have the physical means to make the car payment this month, but I need you to go ahead and give me a credit because I'm one of Divine's chosen ones. They're going to be like, say, what? What did you say? What did you say? No, that doesn't work. We need money. They're not going to accept that for currency. Okay? So I'm not blind, and that's not what this speaks to. It's not speaking to a blind or naivety about what is necessary here in the 3D, but it speaks to a relinquishing your focus on those things not being the reason why you breathe. Okay? Fourth is the crucifixion, the ascension out of the chasing spirit, okay? And the balancing of masculine and feminine energy, okay? Next, we are looking at the ascension period, okay? And this is the resurrection of the new self. Step number 5 in the 7 degrees of spiritual initiation, okay? Number 5, ascension. Okay? So this is the resurrection of your new self. You're welcoming back into the earth. Out of hermit mode, you are going back out into the world. Okay? This may come a number of different ways, but you go back out into the world. This could be you going back out into the world by starting your own YouTube channel. This after you disappeared, people didn't know where you were, past friends, whatever. They didn't know where you were. Where is he? Where is she? What are they doing? What happened to them? Okay? Or some other form of you being reintroduced into the world. Step number 5 is your ascension and the revealing of the new self. The revealing of the new self. For most, this happens very quietly. Okay? Very quietly. Okay? Thank you so much for tuning in, and greetings and peace to you. Okay? Oh, hey, Sean. Thank you so much for tuning in. I didn't see you there. Okay. All right. So, number 5, ascension. And this is the resurrection, the rising up, and again, the going back out into society of your about yourself after me too, CEO, me too. After you've done the spiritual work and gone through the previous 4 stages. Okay? So, all right. Next is your path choice. So, that is realizing what your work is here on this planet. You all know, and I say it all of the time, I'm a master builder 33. I'm a master teacher. That's what I'm here to do. Blah, 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 blah. All right. You hear me say that over and over again. But that is my path. That is why I am here. Okay? So, that is answering the call, making the choice, what is going to be your path of service. Step number 6 in the 7 degrees of initiation. 7 degrees of initiation. Okay? Spiritual initiation. Okay? And so, what is that path going to be? Is it going to be artistry of some sort? Okay? I met a painter here who teaches classes, okay? She teaches lessons, classes here. She did once have a gallery, but now she teaches classes, okay? At 2 different schools, she teaches art classes, okay? Or is it a spiritual, okay? Is it a spiritual thing, okay? Ooh, sort of. You will have to go back and rewind. That's for sure. You'll have to go back and listen. The one who said, I hope I didn't miss a lot, you'll have to go back and take a listen. So what is that going to be? Or is it going to be a spiritual thing? If you are a singer, okay, and you are again released back out into the earth, okay, to sing, perform, write, dance, choreography, build. You could be an engineer. You could have a special eye for certain things. And when I say eye, I mean eye. You could have a certain eye for certain things. You could be a designer, okay, of any sort, okay? Confirmation, okay? I've spoken to some of you, and some of you are Gaia healers. Okay, some of you have gardens. Some of you are putting together things from your garden that are going to be healing potions. Some of you interior decorators. Some of you are right. So whatever it is that you do, some of you are rescuers. Okay, some of you have worked firefighters, EMT. Some of you have done these types of things. So what spiritually? What are you going to do moving forward when you ascend or are put back out in society and come out of hermit mode? What is your path? That is step number 6, is the choice. Step number 6 is the choice. And the choice is, what is going to be your path of service? What is going to be your path of service on this planet? Okay? And then step number 7, okay, is your full blossoming into your avatar, whatever that looks like, okay? Your full blossom into your avatar, okay? So you have soul tribe members around you, okay? You are on the land, physical land, okay, that you asked for, that you manifested, or that you deserve, whichever it happens to be, okay? You are where you are supposed to be in the city, in the state, in the country. You are flourishing, okay, in this 7th stage, okay? And this is another part of the resurrection. So the resurrection and the ascension, okay, are 2 different things. The resurrection and the ascension are 2 different things. The ascension in step number 5. Is there any spiritual books that I know of on the medicine wheel? No. Let me write that down. On the medicine wheel of life. No. Justice League. Okay. No, there isn't. But I'll take a look for sure. Okay. So yes, okay. So this is the 7th and final step. Okay. Again, you and your full avatar, whatever that is, and you may look the same physically as you did when you started your conscious spiritual journey, when you got into step number 1, which is having no attachments to the physical earth. Having no attachments, okay? Being in the world, but not of the world, okay? So we are on this planet, but just because we're on this planet, that doesn't mean we have to live like the low vibrational humans do on this planet, okay? All right? So now we're going to get into the mirror of this, okay? The mirror of this, okay? So the other side of this is the shamanic path, okay, or life path focus. So we looked at the 7 degrees of initiation, okay, and that really connects with ascended masters, esoteric teachers, etc. Now we're going to look at the shamanic path, the shamanic path. What is low vibrational people? People that deny the truth, essentially. You want to sum it up in one sentence? Those that deny the truth. So, those that stay between Genesis and Revelation, those are low vibrational individuals once they come into the knowledge of. Everyone is accountable once they come into the knowledge of. So, when you try to share with someone, I started meditating and it's really helped me a lot. And they be like, what? I ain't doing that shit. That's a low vibrational individual right there. Right there. That's a low vibrational energy. And don't even waste your time. Don't even waste your time. Okay? When they deny you once, don't even waste your time. Don't try to kick the door down. Don't be like, but look, no, look, it's working, it's work. No, 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 mm-mm. Don't even exert yourself. Do not even, do not even, yeah. Don't even get to the point of over-exertion. Just don't even. Just walk away, okay? Yeah, basically, Sean, okay? Basically, okay? Yeah. Just someone, okay, who lives in their lower chakras is another way to put it, okay? So what does that mean if they live in their lower chakras? What's in your lower chakras, okay? Your lower chakras cover your root, your sacral, and your solar plexus. So lower vibrational energies are egotistical. Solar plexus energy upside down. Egotistical. Solar plexus energy upside down. They are sex demons, okay? Succubus, incubus energies, okay? Succubus, incubus energies, male and females, okay? All right? And the root. They are ungrounded. They are emotional basket cases, okay? They are all over the place. Today is yay, tomorrow is, oh, is life. You know what I mean? They're just woo, woo. They're just, right? Every day. And I understand we all go through challenges, but I'm talking about every day. Okay? Every day. Okay? You don't know which one of them is going to show up tomorrow. That right there is a low vibrational person or being. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So you got a lot of answers for that question, not just from me, but from those who are in this chat. You got a lot of answers for that, for a low vibrational. A lot of answers. So write any of those down if you want to. Okay. So the mirror side of this, okay, the mirror side of this, talking about the shamanic life path focus. So 7 degrees of initiation was the birth. The first step in the shamanic life path focus, okay, is the call, okay? So this deals with sudden life events. Many of us have dealt with sudden life events, okay? Sudden life, thank you so much for showing everyone love, okay? For their answers, because they're all true. They're all good, okay? So the first step in the shamanic life path focus, okay, is the sudden life change event. So you're just going along life, you think everything's happy, everything's good. All of a sudden you have a 9/11 in your life. You have a September 11th, 2001 in your life, right? And planes just start coming out of nowhere and bombing your life. And you're like, what the heck? Boom, boom, boom. You lose your job. You lose your company. Then then you're homeless. Then all of a sudden, wait, and you turn around and 2 months later, and you're like, what the hell? 3 months, 6 months ago, I just had, what happened? Yeah. Divine is like, it's time to wake up. That's the call. That's the call. That's the call. Okay? So step number 1 in the shamanic life path focus is the call. Sudden life events. Sudden life events. You think your marriage is going well, all of a sudden he or she comes home and they're like, I'm leaving. And you're like, what? I thought our marriage was, what? What do you mean you're doing what? So just boom, out of nowhere. Okay? You could have given somebody a sudden life event, okay? Just out of nowhere, right? So, yeah. First one is the call, okay? Next one, okay? Step number 2 or level number 2, part number 2, step number 2, whatever you want to call it, okay? In the shamanic life path focus is hermit mode, okay? Hermit mode, okay? Again, my triangle, okay? I'm going to let somebody else say it. My triangle to spiritual ascension and awakening is what? There's a triangle. You need 3 things. 3 things are a must. They are unavoidable. They are unavoidable. You need 3 things, okay? And hermit mode is one of those. Hermit mode is one of those. That is step number 2. You must be in isolation for some time. That doesn't mean you need to quit your 9-to-5 job, but you have to go into silence. When you get home, when you clock out, you clock out. Okay? You leave that job at the office. Okay? And I understand for some that's not possible because some are too married to their job and they let their job rule them. That is something that needs to die. Let me get the charger for the phone. Give me a moment while I set this up. So, yeah, okay. So hermit mode number 2, hermit mode number 2, it's a must, okay? It's a must, okay? Some of us are forced into hermit mode. Some of us welcome hermit mode, okay? Whichever it goes for you, so long as you do it, okay? However it goes for you, so long as you do it. That's the important part, okay? Let me get this all situated here for, give me a moment, okay? Next, we are looking at step number 3 in the shamanic life path focus. We are looking at the descent, okay? I spoke to ego death, okay? And that's what it is, okay? Ego death. We talked about transfiguration in the 3rd step on the 7 degrees of initiation, okay? On this side, we are looking at the descent or dark night of the soul, okay? Or dark night of the soul, that is, as it is often called, okay? And again, it's a necessary part of the process. It's not fun. It's not joyful. We would avoid it if we could, but it's not. So you can't. So you ain't. So you might as well just buckle down and do it. You might as well just buckle down and just get to work, spiritually speaking. You might as well just buckle down and get to work, okay? Because there's no way around it, okay? How am I going to move this? There we go, okay? So how are we going to get through the dark night of the soul? Again, isolation, celibacy, and meditation. That's it. That's it. Okay? And releasing the things that you cannot control. So what you can't control? You can't control divine timing. You can't control that. When something happens, you can't control that. Okay? You cannot control divine timing. You can't control how something happens. You can't control that. Okay? When divine source says that all things work together for our good, that doesn't mean you get to control everything. That's not what that means. It means that you do some of the work, and then divine source, ancestors, and other spiritual deities, they do some of the work. Okay? You cannot do it all by yourself, and neither do you really want to, be honest. Be honest. Do you really want to do all of the work by yourself? I know I don't. Okay? And divine source is smart enough to not allow me to do all the work by myself. Because if I did all of the work by myself, there'd be like 5 humans on this planet. So divine source knows not to let me do it all by myself. They know that. They know. Yeah, we don't. Yeah, no, we don't want him to do it all by himself. Okay. All right. So, descent into the dark night of the soul. Descent. Step number 3 in the shamanic life focus journey. Descent into the abyss, the darkness. That's why it's called the dark night of the soul. In my dark night of the soul, I will share with you that I had extreme moments over here and extreme moments over here. There were moments or not days, but there were moments when I would do nothing but cry. Nothing but cry. Out of frustration, out of anger, out of angst, whatever it was, I would just cry. Then there were bouts of rage when I would destroy a nightstand with a bat in the garage. And poor Sadie, she was looking at me like I was crazy. She would run into one of the back bedrooms. she'd be like, oh shit, what the hell? he's going crazy again. Oh Lord, what's going on? Right? But I did, because I went from here to here, and it was the dark night of the soul. I was relinquishing and releasing all of the whatever, okay? The whatever it was, fear of control, lack of control, fear of what, anger, frustration, disappointment, what shock, whatever it was, okay? I was releasing those things, okay? So, dark night of the soul, absolutely necessary, absolutely necessary, okay? I was listening to I have not listened to an oracle on YouTube in probably about 2 weeks, okay? Probably more than that, okay? Today went by extremely slow, by the way. The time did, or at least to me it did. And so I listened to this oracle, and she said something that I found rather surprising. She said that my dad lied to me. I asked my dad this, something about a boyfriend or something like that, okay? Oh, about the time? Yeah. And she said, I asked my dad about this, and my dad lied to me. And she said, I still talk to my dad because I don't want to disrespect him. Let me tell you something. I don't know if she listens to me or not, but let me tell you something, okay? All of you, okay? Listen, if you still, for fear of disrespecting a parent, you still talk to them, but you know they lie to you, you haven't learned your lesson, and you are bound to repeat it. I couldn't believe she said that. I couldn't believe she said that. I still speak to him even though he's lied to me, even though I know he's hiding shit from me, even though I know he won't tell me the truth. I asked him about this. I asked him about that. He told me no when somebody else told me that. What? Because you don't want to disrespect them? You a grown ass fucking woman, okay? Disrespecting your daddy or your mama should be the last thing on your mind when you are on your spiritual. Disrespecting them? They disrespect you when they lie to you in your face. Disrespect? And I left her a message on that video, okay? Or on her short or whatever that was, okay? I left her a message and I let her know, okay? You are not correct to hold on to your father. You need to do a cord cutting and say, bye-bye, daddy, okay? You need to say, bye-bye, daddy, okay? Because anybody who's willing to lie to you and you keep them around, you have not learned a lesson that you need to learn. You have not learned a lesson. Okay? Hello, Purple. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay? Purple, I have no problem kicking dumbasses off my channel. I just want you to know that. So the dark night of the soul, okay? Third step in the shamanic life path focus. Step number 4, okay, was crucifixion. That is the ascension, okay? That's what crucifixion means. It doesn't mean death. Transformation in the shamanic life path journey. Transformation is step number 4, and that is the growth reawakening, okay? That is the growth reawakening. So you're out of the dark night of the soul. You've done the ego deaths. Now your spirit is ready to flourish. Now you have meditation routine down. Now you do these things, okay, without even thinking about them. You do these things without even thinking about them. When I went on my visa run, and I do this all of the time. When I go on my visa run, okay, when I went the other day, okay, I grabbed some crystals, okay, and I put them in my little bag that I took with me, okay? Grab some crystals and put them in my little bag to take along with me, okay? Everywhere we go, people want to know who we are, so we tell them, okay? We are the Titans, mighty, mighty Titans. So, put some crystals in my little carry-on bag, okay, that I've been traveling with for 10 months. Go on my visa run. You do things in stage number 4, the transformation stage, you just do them automatically. If I wake up in a day and 10 o'clock comes and I haven't lit any sage to cleanse out the room, I'm like, something's strange. Something's, oh, let me clear out the room, let me cleanse the room. You know, it's automatic. It's automatic. It's automatic. Okay? Automatic. 4th stage, growth reawakening. Growth reawakening stage in the shamanic life path focus. Number 5, stage number 5, okay, is the reintegration. Reintegration, okay? Reintegration. Remember, this was the ascension stage in the 7 degrees of initiation. Over here in the shamanic life path focus, we are talking about the reintegration into society with your new wisdoms. And again, that could mean you starting a new YouTube channel. That could mean you writing a book. That could mean you doing any number of things, whatever your life path is, whatever path of service you have chosen. Okay? Whatever that is. When I was in that RV, okay, in Arizona, leaning to the side, okay, when I was in that RV, I took a Reiki healing class and got a Master Reiki healing certification, okay, just to hang on the wall. Why? Even when I was going through that journey at that time, I was able to sit down in a broke down RV, barely had running water, okay? And it literally got, in Arizona, it gets hot, by the way, Tucson, Arizona, southern Arizona, okay? It would get 105 degrees in that bad boy, okay? With an air conditioning that worked probably 75% of its time. And when I say, I should say of its strength, okay? So yeah, and only one of those air conditioners work, okay? So in that time, even in that situation, I was able to sit down and take a Reiki Master Healing class and get a certification. Okay? So that's the type of passion, okay, that I hope you have, collective, for your journey, whatever your path of service happens to be, okay? I didn't need that Reiki Master certification. I was already a healer, but I got the Reiki Master certification because there were certain things that I wanted to learn, and there was a service that I wanted to offer as my path of service, okay? And because I know my path is spiritual, I wanted to be able to one day offer Reiki healing classes or sessions. And so I took the class in order to learn. And so I have that in my pocket. And so when the day and time and moment and resources show up, I have that in my pocket. So, yeah. So when that day comes, that will be a day, okay, of me reintegrating back out into society as a whatever else, in addition to being a Reiki Master healer, okay? So for you, whatever that happens to be, you could be writing the books today, and then when you are released back out into society, that's the publishing moment for you. However that goes for you, collective, however that goes for you. Okay? Now we're looking at the integration, and I already spoke a little bit about this, okay? And this is daily, everyday living application, okay? And I'll be honest with you, okay? This is where my well, you know, that's, thank you, Tahara. I'm always humbled, again, with your words, and I often get a little, I don't know, something because I don't know exactly how to respond to such admiration. I don't know how to respond. But that is the hope, okay? Is that my journey is one that is an encouragement to you. And that's why I always say be encouraged, okay? That's why I always say that, okay? Because I know this journey is not just for me. It's not for me to go live in a cave, even though I might like to do that sometimes, and just stay to myself. That's not my journey, okay? So the daily living application, I spoke to this a little earlier, okay? And again, that's waking up every day, having your morning rituals, okay? Drinking water before you drink anything else in the morning, water being the last thing you drink before you go to sleep at night. You know, having these rituals, nearly, not every day, nearly every day, I have some type of fruit. Some type of fruit. Hello, thank you so much for tuning in. Some type of fruit is integrated into my eating every day. It could be an orange, it could be a mango, it could be a whatever. And here, okay, mangoes are a surplus. You can get a mango for, I don't know, 50 cents or something like that, right here in Vietnam, right? And all kinds of other tropical fruits and things like that that are a bit more difficult to find in the U.S. Dragon fruit and all these sorts of things are a little more expensive in other places. Here, 10 for a dollar. You know what I mean? But I try to incorporate some type of fruit, at least one piece of fruit into my diet nearly every day. And it's not every day, nearly every day, some type of fruit. Okay? So getting into these daily living cycles, going for a walk every day. I don't do Tai Chi workouts every day, but I did one today. Okay? Getting into a routine of doing things that's better in your life. The one thing that I do every day, or there's a couple of things I do every day, okay? I meditate, okay? Or I listen to some type of frequency, high vibrational frequency, without fail. It could be on my walk, it doesn't matter. At some point in time, I'm listening to some type of vibration, some type of frequency, tuning forks, sound bowls. I'm listening to something that keeps me grounded and spiritually aware. I'm doing something, okay? And water consumption every day. And at a point I was over hydrating, okay? And I realized that, okay? But step number 6 is integration, the daily application. The daily application. Getting into that routine. Okay? That routine. Oh, can you do no. I can meet you at this time. Okay? Okay? Oh, of course. Okay? I can meet you at this time. I can't meet you at that time. Why? Because I'm meditating. Because I'm whatever. Because I can't meet you. Yeah. Because my divine ancestors, Erevat, has me doing something else. So I can't meet you at that time. If you're available, I can meet you at this time. I had an esoteric conversation scheduled with someone on Tuesday, okay? And I sent them an email, and I mistakenly put today, but we both knew that it was Tuesday. It was supposed to be on 3/3. And I knew when I sent the email that they were going to email me and cancel. I knew it. I just sat back and waited for the email. Sure enough, they sent an email and they said they needed to cancel. And I was just like, okay, well, oh well. You know, I knew before they sent the email. I didn't tell them that, but I already knew energetically. I knew that they were going to cancel. I already knew it. Okay? I already knew it. All right? So get into the daily integration, daily process. Okay? Lastly, in the shamanic life path focus is the mastery, okay? And this is navigating your journey as a master, okay? Hello, only one, okay? Mastering your journey as a master, okay? So we're going to summarize this, okay? The 7 degrees of initiation we're talking about. esoteric teachings, okay, and the shamanic life path. On one side, 7 degrees of teaching. On the other side, again, it's a mirror. On the other side, we have the shamanic life path focus. Okay, 7 degrees of initiation says birth. Okay, that is having no earthly attachments. Okay, realizing that sex is not a necessity. Okay, and first of all, first of all, if you still have sex, okay, that's immature. Okay, I once told someone that I was dating, okay, and this is a true story. Again, we grown. Whenever I say we grown, so we can have grown folks conversations, you know it's about to be something. Whenever I say we grown, so we can have grown folks conversations, you know it's something you need to put the earbuds in for if you have kids around. Okay, that's the warning. Okay, that's the disclaimer. So here comes one. We grown, so we can have grown folks conversations. So I told someone one time, I said, having sex is immature. Okay? I said, we either fuck or we make love. Okay? Having sex is what 15 and 16-year-old, hopefully not, but that's what 15 and 16-year-olds do. That's what teenagers do. Teenagers have sex. That's what teenagers do because they don't know what they're doing. That's what teenagers do. Okay? I had sex. Okay? At 17. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay? So, yeah. But you realize there's no birth, step number 1 in 7 degrees of initiation. Okay? No earthly attachments. You realize what you can really go without, what you can really do without. Okay? And again, through all of my journeys, homelessness, okay? Through all of my journeys, okay? I did not complain. And in fact, while I was homeless, I only went one day without a meal at all. One day without a meal at all. And again, 2 of those times I was homeless, I was on dialysis. So food was extremely important to me at that time. But, okay, I only went without a meal for 24 hours once. Okay, and it probably wasn't even for 24 hours. It was from like maybe 9 o'clock in one morning to, I don't know, 6 o'clock the next morning or something. You know what I mean? So probably wasn't even a full day, you know, from like lunchtime to 9 a.m. the next day or something. Then by 10 o'clock, I had a meal, you know, something like that. Okay. All right. So you're not a money chaser. Okay. You're not a money chaser. You're not stuck to the money. You're not out there just focused on the money. Okay. And ignoring the true reason why you are here. Okay. On the other side of the shamanic, we have the call is step number 1. So birth on this side, the call on this side, and that's a sudden life event, okay? Like a boom, okay? Sudden life event. Step number 2, baptism. Step number 2, separation mode, okay? Emotional ego over here, okay? Ego deaths, mastering your emotions, balancing masculine and feminine energy, okay? Step number 3, transfiguration, connecting the dots, seeing how and the reason why you are here, realizing what type of starseed you are, realizing the spiritual connection you have to other beings, whether they are physical or not, okay? Starting to connect the dots. Transfiguration. On the other side of the shamanic life path, descent, okay? And this is the dark night of the soul journey, okay? Descent into the abyss to hopefully one day arise. Okay? I couldn't even answer that question other than to say divine source. Okay? Okay? I couldn't answer that question other than to say divine source. What led me here? And I only realized, I knew that the family that I was renting the hotel room from, I knew that they were special. They treat me like exceptionally well, exceptionally well. I paid for a month in advance yesterday, or not in advance, but you pay for a hotel in it, for your stay up front. So I paid for my month stay here up front, and they gave me 500,000 dong off. Okay, now 500,000 dong is not a lot of money. To those of you who are in the U.S., it's $20. But 500,000 dong here in Vietnam goes a long way. Okay, so they gave me 500,000 dong off my monthly stay. They've taken extremely good care of me. In addition to that, okay, they offered free laundry. So I get my laundry done 2 times a week for free. Okay, favor. They've invited me to meet the Buddhist master. Favor. They happen to be here at the same time I'm here from Colorado. I came from Tucson, Arizona. They came from Colorado. It's just divine. It's just the way Most High planned it with this family, okay? And whatever the journey is here. So that's such a great question. All I can say is divine put me here. Divine led me here. That's all I can say to that. Yeah. Okay? All right. So fourth, okay, in the 7 degrees of initiation, we have the crucifixion. The crucifixion. Okay? And this is the complete abandonment of the 3D. Okay? Of course, Sean, great question. This is a complete abandonment of the 3D. Okay? And again, on the other side of the shamanic transformation or life path, we are looking at the growth reawakening. Okay? The growth. So after your dark night of the soul, you realize what has been going on in your life all this time, right in front of your face. Then you start remembering what your mother told you when you were a child. You start remembering what your aunt, your uncle, your niece, your nephew said to you, did to you, your sibling. You start remembering these things, okay? In your transformation stage, your reawakening, you start remembering, oh, I remember Kevin told me. That's the warlock for those of you who are, well, that's the warlock in my life, okay? We all have an arch nemesis, okay? We all have an arch nemesis, okay? So whoever arch nemesis is, okay? For me, their name is Kevin this lifetime. I remember when Kevin said, da, 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 da. You start remembering, ding, 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 ding. And those bells start going off. And then you start putting other things together. Ooh, when I met her, oh, when I started dating him, ooh, that's for the women, okay? I'm not a homosexual. Ooh, when I start, you just start putting things together, okay? That's the reawakening stage, okay? That's stage number 4, okay? Then on the other side, okay, we have stage number 5. That is the ascension stage for the 7 degrees of initiation. On the other side, we have the return, okay, to society with the wisdom. The return to society with the wisdom that you have, okay, and the ascension, okay, or the reintroduction back into society. The reintroduction back into society, okay, as this new enlightened being, okay? All right? Completely aware of who to allow in and who to keep out. Okay? Number 6, stage number 6, we have choice and what's your life path of service, okay? Confirmation, okay? Confirmation, only one, okay? So stage number 6 is now choosing what's your life path, okay? So what's your path of service, not your life path number. What's your path of service, okay? So with your awakening, with your wisdom, with your enlightenment, now that you have this routine of meditation, Now that you know who divine source is, now you know their name is not Jesus. Now that you know the ascended masters, now you are connected to your ancestors. Now you're aware of your 72,000 natty network and 114 chakras. Now you're aware of their canonical books outside of the Bible that they tried to keep from you. Now that you're aware of all of these things and you are not here just as a YOLO, you only live once. Now that you're aware of all of this, what are you going to do with it? That is step number 6 on the 7 degrees of initiation. On the other side, we have the integration and the daily life application. Meditation every day. Cleansing your energy every day. Every day. Even on days when I eat pizza, I meditate and I cleanse my energy. Okay? Even on those days, I meditate and I cleanse my energy. Okay? Every day. Every day. Number 6, integration into your daily life routines. Okay? So, number 7, and 6 again, I want to reiterate, is choosing what is going to be your path of service. So how will you give back to humanity? I asked a question of us the other day. I said, how do you want to leave this place? What's the frequency? What's the vibration? And I like vibration. What's the vibration that you want to leave here when it's all said and done? What does that look like? What does that vibration sound like? What is that? What do you want? Okay? What do you want to carry on? Whether you have seed here to carry that on, physical seed or not. What do you want the vibration to be of you when you leave? What do you want that to sound like? What do you want that to look like? Okay? Number 7, okay? Resurrection, 7 degrees of initiation. On the other side, we have the mastery, and that is navigating the journey as a master. Navigating the journey as a master, okay? We have the avatar, full avatar, okay? And the 7 degrees of separation, step number 7, level number 7, stage number 7, okay? Hello, Leisha, we are tying this up, okay? And on the other side, we have the mastery, okay? The mastery of your journey, okay? And again, that doesn't mean you know everything. Justice League asked me, okay? Hello, Christine. We are getting ready to close out for those of you who are tuning in now, all right? Justice League asked me about the medicine wheel of life, okay? I'll have to look into that, okay? Because I am today not aware of that, okay, consciously. So that's something that I will look into, all right? So for those of you who are tuning in, when you go back and listen, we have been discussing the 7 degrees of initiation, okay, concerning ascended masters and esoteric teachings and the life path focus of the shamanic, okay? The 7 degrees of initiation concerning ascended masters and esoteric teachings and the life path focus of the shamanic and how they mirror one another, okay? How they mirror one another, all right? Are there any questions? Okay? Are there any questions? What about, when you say, what do you mean, what about having a prophecy? You mean me giving you a prophecy? What do you mean? Lovely. What about having a prophecy? Do you mean me giving you a prophecy? Okay. Is that what you're speaking about? Oh, excellent. Someone said divine timing for me to hear this. Excellent. Thank you, Divine Source. Again, I am a student and a teacher. I am a student and a teacher. Oh, so realizing that you are a prophet, okay, or a prophetess, okay, if you will, male or female. Yeah. So if that's your journey, then okay, I would seek divine source, okay, and find out how you are to utilize that, okay, in your journey. What's how are you supposed to utilize that? Okay? Is it in your community? Okay? Is it online today? Okay? Again, Yeshua had to walk everywhere for his teachings. Okay? Fortunately, we don't have to do that today. All right? It also can make us a bit more lazy. Okay? But we don't have to do that today. So if that is you, then I would ask, okay? I see that you are showing me, divine source, that I am a prophet. How do you want me to use these gifts? When I am released back out into society in stage 7 of my journey, how do you want me to, yeah, yeah, very good question. Greetings, Aria. Thank you so much for tuning in, okay? We are closing this out. We are talking about the 7 degrees of initiation concerning ascended masters and esoteric teachings and the shamanic life path focus. Each of these have 7 steps. Okay? Oh, no problem. Okay, no problem. Yeah. That's a good reason to be late to this live, Christina. Or Christine, excuse me. That's a good reason to be late to this live, Christina. You checking flights, okay? To get the hell out of Dodge, okay? Yeah, that's a good reason. That's a good reason to be late to this live, okay? This live is not more important than you getting a flight out of wherever you are in, okay? And into a better land. There is, yeah. This life is not more important than that. So don't feel bad, all right? Yeah, area. Yeah, Araya. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, GTFO, boy. I hear that. GTFO. GTFO. All right. Um, oh, so let's look at something real quick. Let's look at something real quick. Okay? Let's look at something real quick. Let's look at, I have a religious book scripture written down here. Okay? Let me see what this says. I have it written down here as a note. I don't know what it says. Okay? We'll see. I'm curious myself. I'm curious myself. And again, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Okay? As I mentioned, we do share canonical text every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let me, that's interesting. Let me look up something concerning the pineal gland. Okay, so so interesting. Okay, so Acts 2 and 3, that's the scripture that I have written down here at the bottom of my notes here, describes the arrival of Holy Spirit on the day of Pentecost. Okay, where divided tongues as of fire appeared to them, okay, and rested on each of them. Okay, this event symbolizes the empowerment of the disciples, okay, for ministry, often interpreted as a purification or a manifestation of God's presence. I don't know why I wrote that down, but I did. I wrote that down there for some reason. Okay, I did. All right. Why are some crystals you carry? Oh, what are some crystals that you carry with you? Oh, so, um, So tiger's eye, I always carry with me, always. Okay, tiger's eye. I actually had individual crystals. Tiger's eye was the first crystals that I did purchase. I actually had individual crystals, but then in my travels, they whatever. I left them in hotels. They whatever happened to them. I don't. People took them. I don't know. Whatever happened to them. Okay, and I'm not blaming anyone for any of that. But whatever happened to them. Um, and but tiger's eye is definitely one of the first. Okay, it was my first crystal that I got. Okay, yes, for sure, for protection. And then I use mica. Okay, I use black tourmaline. Okay, and I use is it lapis lazuli? Let me take a look. I think it's lapis lazuli. It's blue. That might not be correct. I might be thinking of something else. Yes, yes, that is correct. Okay, lapis lazuli. Okay, yes. So I use that crystal as well. It's blue in color. Okay, I use that as well. Okay. Um, I would definitely, before I answer, let me think on this, Christine, because I want to give you the right answer. I don't want to speak for what I would do. Okay, you were asking for your spirit, so let me think on that for a moment. Oh yeah, you're welcome, Sean. Sean. Sean asked some great questions, boy. Y'all, y'all are on it. Y'all, you guys asked some great questions. Some great questions. Um, okay, so um, I would definitely carry tiger's eye for sure. Okay, Christine, to start. Um, and then I would also carry, I would carry some type of red crystal. You can pick any number of them. I'm not a crystal master. Okay, I would pick up some red crystal. Okay, some red crystal, whatever that happens to be, whichever one you're drawn to. Okay, um, I would also pick up um, oh man, the name is escaping me. Okay, and I carry it as well. Um, I want to say crystalline, but that's not. It's a clear crystal. Quartz. Is it quartz? Quartz. I think it's quartz. Let me check. Quartz crystal. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. So that one's also standing out to me. Okay. Quartz. That one's also standing out to me as well. Okay. Um, yes. Clear quartz. Yeah. Thank you, Araya. Yeah. Araya. That's correct. So some type of red. Definitely tiger's eye. The clear quartz for sure. Okay. I would definitely carry those, and then any others. Okay. That divine source speaks to you about. Or when you go into a holistic store, you go into a store that sells crystals, any one of them that speaks or stands out to you. Okay. Because that's what I did when I first went into the store. Um, and I bought a couple of this crystal, that crystal. This was before I was still a tax accountant. I didn't even know what they were, but I was started to meditate. Okay. And I would walk into the store and I would just walk around and I would hold certain ones. And whichever ones resonated with me most, I would be looking at it and I would just be like, okay, no, that one's not resonating with. And I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, this one, and that's how I would do it. I just walk in the store. I wouldn't know the names of them. I'd learn the names of them when I got them. You know what I mean? So yeah, okay. But I would recommend those three to start. You know. Yeah. Of course, of course. Okay. So, thank you, everyone. It's been a pleasure as always. Okay, been a pleasure again. Today's time went by really, really slow for me. Okay, for whatever reason. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Oh yeah, you're welcome, CO. Yep, that's a great idea. Yeah. And like I said, if I'm ever going on a long journey, okay, and it could be again, it could be even sometimes when I go on a walk, I'll just put a couple crystals in my pocket, even though I have tiger's eye, bands on and bracelet and all that. I'll put a couple crystals in my pocket, okay? I'll put a couple crystals in my pocket just because, okay? All right. So, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I look forward to whatever the next class, lesson, whatever Divine wants to share. Again, I don't. These things are spiritually guided. Okay, some of them are brought about because of your questions. Some of you inquire, and that sort of thing. Um, one of the questions, and it's such a prominent thing, this is why we speak about it so much, not because we're so focused on it, but because it's such a prominent attack zone. In our alchemy class, of course, Sean, and thank you for your questions. In our alchemy class, someone asked, because they're going through or was going through heavy, heavy sacral attacks. Okay. And they asked me, they said it's so stupid and it's so ridiculous. She was like, the attacks are just like over the top. She was like, what can I do about those things? Okay. And perhaps that's something that we'll discuss in the next. That's definitely a grown folks conversation. So put the earbuds in for that conversation. All right. So thank you so much, everyone. Again, I don't know what the next class, I don't know what that's going to be. I will keep you posted. I will post in the community tab of upcoming classes and that sort of thing, most likely, whatever those happen to be. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. My name is Nehru. I am an extraterrestrial earth angel and a light worker, Gaia Beacon, here for the 10th and final time, born on the 333rd day of the year. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, be encouraged.